Welcome, Lucille.
Hello. How are you, Mandy?
Excellent. So, Lucille's going to join us for the Spring Book Bash 2026, which happens on Saturday, April 25th at the Randall House in downtown Greer on Randall Street. Uh,
Exciting.
I know. I'm absolutely looking forward to this. It's going to be so much fun. There's going to be about 32 authors that will be present, around 8 different states that are represented. So we're really excited about where everything is going. And you're going to join us for that. Tell us about the books that you're going to be bringing with you.
All right. So I started taking my writing very seriously about 3 years ago. And I've always been a writer, but my stories and my journals and everything were, were shoved in drawers. And that's pretty much it for most of my life. And then 3 years ago, I said, no, it's time to take it seriously. And I wrote my first novel and said, I'm going to try to get it published. Let's see what happens. And I was lucky enough to get with a small press who I absolutely love. They've been wonderful. And they loved it. And the book did fabulous. So that was what I consider my debut. Although I did self publish some years prior to that, but it was really a story based on my mom. And I just wanted to see it in print quickly
Mhm.
before she passed. So my debut is Elizabeth's Mountain. And here's Elizabeth's Mountain. Oh, there we go. This was my debut, and it's done very, very well. It's still going strong. And basically, it's I write realistic fiction. So
Mhm.
all of my books deal with realism and women who have to overcome obstacles and struggles. So
Mhm.
Elizabeth Mountain is actually a multi-generational romance. So it's American historical and it's contemporary both because it's the
Oh.
grandmother and the granddaughter's stories. And I think that's
Oh.
what appeals to a lot of the readers because the relationship between the grandmother and granddaughter is really tight. It's really strong, and I think people really relate to that. But it's two romances actually in the book. You've got
Hmm.
the grandmother's story and then the granddaughter's story. And it takes place in Asheville, North Carolina. And I'm only like a couple hours from there. And I always loved Asheville. So the setting was just perfect for me. And it's perfect for the story. So that's Elizabeth Mountain. And then my next book, which I sort of, I went all contemporary, and that's this one, Lunch Tales, Sue Ellen. There we go. It's all contemporary. It's a different tone than Elizabeth Mountain. Elizabeth Mountain, I would say, is probably more lyrical and scenic. The Lunch Tale series is very sassy. These are
Oh.
modern young women and they're working in a big dynamic law firm in New Jersey. Uh,
Mm.
like 25 minutes from Manhattan, and it's there's a lot of drama, and the tone is definitely different. So I went, in a sort of but again, it's women's fiction. It's a woman's story and things that she has to overcome. She's a self saboteur, but a lot of things happen to her, and you'll see a very strong arc there.
Mhm.
All my women, they all are going to go through a big, strong arc. Um, then my third book, which is Lunch Tales Tegan. This one just
Mm.
launched 2 days ago. Um,
Wow.
yeah,
Nice.
I'm excited. It just launched. So far, it's getting a good response. It's early; it's only 2 days, but Elizabeth, the Lunch Tales series, they're both in each other's books. There we go. And you meet Tegan in Sue Ellen's book. You
Mhm.
meet in each book, but they. So when I started the Lunch Tales series, I wasn't even planning on a series at first. But when I started Lunch Tales Sue Ellen, um, it actually started as I just wrote about four women working in this big dynamic law firm. And as when I looked at the draft after I wrote the first draft, I thought, these women are really complicated, and there's so much more than just a few pages,
Mhm.
their own books, so I wanted to give them more space. So that's how the Lunch Tales series began, basically. So Sue Ellen has her book. Megan has her book, and then I'll have a third one coming out probably in another year or so. But basically, it'll be probably three of them. But they all are friends. They all work together in the same big dynamic law firm. That's how they met, and they have lunch together,
Mm,
and they talk, and you hear all the things that are going on in their lives, and you can imagine, right? It's a lot.
mhm.
I do emotion heavy, I should say.
Okay.
That's not light. It's deep. It's heavy stuff. This is coming out in May. This is my fourth book novel, Smoky
Okay.
Rise, and Smoky Blue Sunrise is a return to Elizabeth Mountain.
Ah.
Elizabeth Mountain did so well that people would say to me, you really need to do a sequel. Are you going to do a sequel? And I wasn't even planning on a sequel. I actually it was going to be a one and done.
Mhm.
But because of the response I got, I thought, well, maybe I should consider it. So I did. I had to think about how to get people back there because Elizabeth is 90. In Elizabeth,
Oh.
that's where it starts out, and she tells her story. So I thought, how do I, I'm going to get people back there somehow, and I figured out a way to do it. It took me a while,
Mhm.
but I introduced new characters, young characters. The girl is actually 23, and she's suffered a trauma, and she
Mhm.
get away. And where does she go? She goes to Elizabeth's Mountain and seeks and gets a job there with Elizabeth's granddaughter, who now has inherited the big farmhouse on the hill. So that story is, as I was writing it, I was about 70% through. I knew where I was going with it. I'm a pantser writer, so
Okay.
I don't
Yep.
always know where it's going to go. It surprises me sometimes, but it's fun.
Yep.
But I knew I was 70% done, so I had a pretty good idea where I was going to go with it. And then Hurricane Helene hit Asheville as I'm writing,
Oh.
and I went, "Oh my goodness!" And I'm writing in present day. The story is in present day, and so I thought, "Wow, I have to address this. I mean, I have to incorporate this in my story. I mean, it's real life." And so it set me back a little. It set me back a few months. I interviewed some people that were actually living in Asheville at the time during Helene, and
Mm.
telling me exactly what it was like and the experiences they were going through. And so once I got through all those interviews, then I had to incorporate it into the story, and it worked. It actually worked. It actually, I mean, it's like wow. I mean, I had to take a hard turn, but it actually makes sense. It actually works very well, and I would have never. I mean, I didn't plan it. It just happened. But because I do realistic fiction, I had to, I had to mention it. I couldn't just ignore it,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it happened. so I think it definitely, I think it made the book even stronger because this girl has to survive in a lot of internal things, and now she has to survive this hurricane. So there's that.
Lots for her to survive. Now, that comes out in May, so that'll be after our event. Are you gonna have where people can pre-order the book at the event then?
Yes, they can actually pre-order it now.
Okay.
It's already up on Amazon and all the book sites. It's
Mhm.
already up and can be pre-ordered through them or my publisher. He said they can order there. I think you can get a discount with my publisher. So,
Mhm.
yeah, it's ready. It's out there. It's up.
It's amazing when you write in present day and then it's like, "Ooh, we have to address whatever that is that happens." And it's like, "Hmm, do you address it?" Well, yeah, because you can't not address it because especially with Hurricane Helene, it wasn't just like a
Mm,
regular storm. I mean, it did so many catastrophic
yeah,
things that
it was
it's like,
historic. Definitely historic. It
yeah,
had to be. Yeah, I had to incorporate it. It was a historic and 100-year,
yeah.
storm. It was apocalyptic. that, that was,
And you still have to deal with the remnants of it because they're still working on
they
I-40.
still are, but fortunately,
So
they're coming a long way. Yeah.
oh, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm so glad that they've gotten as far as they have. That
Yes.
it's incredible.
Yes.
Um,
Definitely. Yes, definitely. But it's fun. And so all my woman characters are they're complicated. I mean, their
mhm.
lives, there's a lot that goes on with them. They're and they have to overcome quite a lot. I always I tell people at my book clubs when they ask me, I'm like, I really put them through a lot. Don't but why else would you want to pick up the book, right? Unless it's interesting.
Well, yeah, because I mean, it's like, yeah, you could make them mundane, but and normal and average, but
Why
would
would you
any
want to
I
read
was gonna say, who would wanna read that? A lot of people read to escape, so, you
it?
know.
Exactly. But I'm a glass half full person, so
Mhm.
I usually end on a very optimistic, hopeful note. So
Oh, good.
that's the only way I see life. I have to. It's
Mhm.
the only way.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you've got another one in the works then in the Lunch Tale series.
Yeah, very early, work in progress.
Okay.
Very early still, but it'll be the third friend, lunch
Mm.
friend. That they all there's like they're a group now that they've become very good friends, and they all sit together at lunch, and you hear their stories, and they're all going through something different.
So are
And
there more in that group, or is it just the 3?
there is a fourth, but I'm not sure. I think I'm not sure if I will go with the fourth. I may stop there,
Okay.
3, and then I may go on to something else. I have some other ideas. I'm even considering doing a prequel because Elizabeth Mountain did so well.
Mhm.
Everybody loved Elizabeth and Joe.
Mhm.
I'm getting a lot of, everybody's, oh, I love Elizabeth and Joe and Elizabeth and Joe. So I'm like, now Elizabeth is 90. So, by the second book, she's passed. But I'm thinking of doing a prequel of that story so that
Oh.
I can bring them back, in their youth, that.
Yeah, that would be good.
So these are thoughts I have. I mean, again, who knows? As a pantser, we know that, things can change day to day.
They can and will change because you said Elizabeth's Mountain was a standalone.
Where it was. Well, I mean, I wasn't, thinking any further than just this one book.
Yeah.
But the response was really, really good, really, really good, and people want more. So when they want more, you got to give it to them.
You have to give them.
Exactly.
So do you only write or do you have a day job?
Oh no, I'm retired now.
Oh.
Yes, so I'm doing well. When I say I'm retired from the work, but I babysit. I help my grandkids.
Oh.
I'm a grandma. I have 3 grandchildren and one on the way, another one
Ooh.
on the way. So I'll have 4, and they keep me busy, and I help my daughters out a lot. So in between that, I write and read. Between writing and reading and babysitting,
Mhm.
my life is full. It's full, but yeah. So it's fun. It's all good stuff. It's all good stuff.
So your Lunch Tales takes place in New Jersey. How did you come up with that location?
Well, so the Lunch Tale series is actually closer to my own experiences, my own life.
Hmm.
I worked at a big dynamic law firm in New Jersey,
Ah.
and for many years, and that's how the idea of it came to be. And so yes, many times, we all would have lunch at the same time, or groups. There was 2 different shifts, but we'd all have lunch at the same time, and we'd have most of the times it would be the same people. And I've heard a lot of stories, a lot, as you can imagine, a lot of stories. And I was just amazed I'm amazed at women, especially strong women, resilient women that overcomes incredible things. And I've seen it all. Pretty much, I've seen it all. I've lived through it all myself. Being in my 60s now, you've lived life. And so,
Mhm.
I can draw on all of that. And so that's where that was inspired Lunch Tales series. And they help, and your friends help you get through, you know,
Mhm.
through it.
So what kind of law firm did you work at?
Um, it was um, it was one of the biggest ones in New Jersey. It was like, gosh, when I started with them, there was like maybe 12 or 15 attorneys, and then by the time I was done, we're talking like a staff of like 200. I mean,
Oh, wow.
yeah, it just kept growing and growing and growing, and they did everything, corporate law and contract law and malpractice, and I mean, it's just it was huge. White collar crime, and
You could really draw on some interesting stories from
yeah, I did,
different
I definitely
cases.
did, and there was a lot of, and when you get that many people together in one building,
Mhm.
you're going to have drama.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you don't need a building that even that big to get a lot of drama,
It
so,
it's a
yeah.
given, it's a given, and there was drama, there was a lot of drama, and, good stuff and not so good, it's all there.
So you were in New Jersey, what brought you down to South Carolina?
My youngest daughter is a psychologist, so she was going for her postdoc,
Mhm.
and she needed to, so she was interviewing in different North Carolina, Connecticut, Pennsylvania, different places, and she came to South Carolina and interviewed, and she liked their program, I think, the
Mm,
most, and it seemed to work for her. It fit with her, with what she wanted, and so she and her husband decided to take a year and come to South Carolina and see if they liked it. But as it turned out, they did like it. And they ended up buying a house, and this is it. This is where they live. So my husband and I would go and visit them in South
mhm.
Carolina, and then we thought, well, this is really nice. Maybe we'll move here too. you know. Um, my husband was always talking about retiring to Florida. It was always
Mm,
Florida, 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 and I wasn't always,
mm.
I wasn't on board with it as much as he was. We were both happy with we're very happy with South Carolina. And so that's how it happened. And then my other daughter, I have two daughters. She's
Mhm.
like, "Well, I'm not going to stay in New Jersey if you're all going to be in South Carolina." She came down, and she loves it too. And her girls, so they actually came down when right after COVID. So
M'kay.
her girls weren't even really in school. They weren't seeing their friends. So it wasn't like traumatic for them because
Yeah.
they were already 9 and 10, and you know,
Mm.
but they were actually excited about it. So and it worked out well.
It's always amazing how resilient kids are
Yes.
when it comes to moves like that, so
Yeah. It worked out perfectly, and they're very happy. They've made friends, and their life is here now. They wouldn't go anyplace else. So we're all here within, 7 minutes of each other.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I know. It's the way it worked out. Who I didn't plan it, and it worked out really nicely. It's good because I think I would have missed them, you know,
Mhm.
especially my grandkids. Oh, I would have missed them. Yeah. That's the best part.
It's always good when you have family so close by.
Yeah, I think it would have been hard for me. Definitely knowing myself, it would have been hard for me to be, in a different state months at a time and only getting to see them maybe once or twice.
Mhm.
I don't think so. It wouldn't work too well, especially my grandkids. I have
Yeah.
a very close relationship with them. Yeah,
That's
really
always good.
close.
So
Yeah.
you've written 4 books now that are very female forward
Yes.
and strong female. Have you thought of going into any other genres, any other directions?
I really I really like character-driven stories. If I did go into another genre, not necessarily a different genre, but I might do a male's perspective rather than a woman's.
Mm.
Um, that would be a challenge for me, though, I think.
Mhm.
I don't know if I could pull it off. I might try it. I mean, I don't know. It's something I've thought about. Um, but I do my male characters in my all my books. I have very strong male characters in all my stories, whether they're good or not good. They're I've
Oh,
got villains, and
so they're not all good.
I've got
Okay.
antagonists, and then I've got the good guys, and um, so they're very compelling characters. So I think I could probably pull it off, but it's something I've thought about. But again, not 100% sure I can get there. Women are easy for me.
Well,
Yeah.
and sometimes you find a genre that you like, and that's what you want to stick with. You know.
I know I myself enjoy books that are I like deep stories.
Mhm.
I like to get deep with, and I enjoy those are the stories that stay with me the longest and stay with me the most. So that's probably why I write that way. I write what I
Mhm.
like to read, basically. But although
Right?
I read everything. The only thing I hesitate to read now is probably a hardcore horror or something like that. I don't
Yeah.
do horror anymore. I When I was young, I did, but I can't do it anymore. I just
Well,
but
it's one of those things that yeah.
every other genre, yeah, I read everything. And I like to switch it up. I do like to.
Mhm.
But for myself, but the stories that when I close a book,
Mhm.
the ones that stay with me the longest are the ones where I really got to know that character and the characters and liked them, and I don't want
Mhm.
to go. Like, I wanna still stay with them, and I
Hopefully they're in the series.
yeah, yes, and I keep thinking about them and, like, what they went through and what happened, and those are the ones that stay with me, the longest, and so that's what I write. So it's what I enjoy.
Awesome. Well, I can't wait to meet you in person,
You
and
too.
we're going to have a big variety of genres and authors, and it's going to be a great day downtown Greer at the Randall House for the Spring Book Bash. I want to thank you for taking time out of your day to come on here and chat about your books.
Thank you very much. I can't wait to meet you, and I'm looking so forward to this. Thank you.
I will see you at the end of April.
Yes.